A spectre is haunting Europe, the spectre of communism. That's the opening line of the most dangerous pamphlet ever written. In 1848, Karl Marx published the Communist Manifesto in London. Within a century, 1/3 of the planet would be living under governments inspired by this 23-page document. Over 100 million people would die. And yet, Marx wasn't wrong about everything. Today, we're breaking down what Marx got right, what he got catastrophically wrong, and why his ghost still haunts every debate about wealth, labor, and capitalism. Let's go. Picture Europe in 1848. Revolutions everywhere. Paris, Vienna, Berlin, Prague. Workers are starving in the streets while factory owners are building mansions. This is the Industrial Revolution at its ugliest. Children working 14-hour shifts in coal mines. Wages were so low that families couldn't afford bread. Life expectancy in Manchester, England? 29 years for factory workers. Classical economists like Adam Smith and David Ricardo said, "Don't worry, the invisible hand will fix it. Markets self-correct." Marx looked at this and said, "You're insane. The system is rigged." And he wasn't wrong about the diagnosis. The question is, was his cure any better? Here's Marx's theory in one sentence. All value comes from labor, but capitalists steal the profits. He called it the labor theory of value. A chair is worth something because a worker made it. A factory is worth something because workers built it. But who owns the factory? The capitalist. Who gets the profits? The capitalist. The worker gets a wage, just enough to survive. But the capitalist pockets the surplus value. Marx called this exploitation. And here's where it gets dark. He predicted capitalism would collapse under its own weight. Why? Because capitalists would keep squeezing workers to maximize profit. Wages would fall. Desperation would rise. Eventually, the workers would revolt, overthrow the capitalists, and seize the means of production. No more bosses. No more private property. Just a classless society where everyone shares equally. This was the revolution Marx promised. Sounds utopian, right? Here's what actually happened. Soviet Union, 1917 to 1991. Famine in Ukraine killed 3.9 million people in 1932 to 1933 alone. Stalin's purges? Another 1.2 million dead. China, 1949 to present. Mao's Great Leap Forward caused the largest famine in human history. 45 million people starved to death between 1958 and 1962. Cambodia, 1975 to 1979. Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge killed 1.7 million people, 25% of the population in 4 years. Cuba, North Korea, Venezuela, every single time. Authoritarian governments, economic collapse, mass suffering. Why? Because Marx misunderstood 3 things about human nature. 1. Incentives matter. Marx assumed people would work hard even without personal rewards. They didn't. Soviet factories produced shoes no one wanted because there was no profit motive to care about quality. 2. Central planning can't replace markets. Marx thought the state could allocate resources better than markets. It couldn't. Price signals disappeared. Shortages became chronic. In the USSR, you could wait 10 years for a car. 3. Eliminating private property doesn't end greed. It concentrates power. Marx wanted to abolish the capitalist class. Instead, he created a new ruling class, the Communist Party. The state became the ultimate monopoly, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So Marxism failed. Does that mean capitalism won? Not exactly. Here's the twist. Even though Marxism as an economic system collapsed, Marx's critiques of capitalism were valid. Wealth inequality is real. In 2024, the top 1% in the US own 32% of all wealth. The bottom 50%? They own 2%. Worker exploitation still happens. Amazon warehouse workers pee in bottles to meet quotas. Gig economy workers have no benefits, no job security. Monopolies crush competition. Big tech controls more market share than Standard Oil ever did. Environmental destruction is driven by profit. Fossil fuel companies knew about climate change in the 1970s and lied about it for decades. Marx wasn't wrong about the problems. He was wrong about the solution. So what did we do? We took the middle path. Capitalism with guardrails. Free markets, but with labor laws, minimum wages, environmental regulations, antitrust enforcement, and social safety nets. It's not pure capitalism. It's not pure socialism. It's a hybrid. And it's not perfect. But it avoids the catastrophic failures of both extremes. Marx wanted revolution. What we got was reform. And honestly, that's probably better. Here's the lesson. Marx was right that unchecked capitalism creates suffering. But he was wrong that tearing down the system would fix it. The real answer isn't revolution. It's balance. Markets are the most efficient way to allocate resources. But markets need rules. Because when left unchecked, capitalism devours itself. Next video. The Chicago School. The economists who said government is the problem, not the solution. Milton Friedman. Free markets. Deregulation. This is where things get spicy. Hit subscribe.